All right, so today is a very big day for the people of Ekiti State. Of course, they've been in the news, and you know why. Today, they head to the polls as they elect that governor that will lead them for the next 4 years. And, you know, a lot of people have said that, today's election is actually a dress rehearsal for what to expect come 2023 general election. So some are tagging it as a litmus test for the INEC. And right now, we take our background report, which is on food security in Nigeria. Of course, the agri sector was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy before the discovery of crude in Nigeria. And of course, at some point, it's generated a lot of income for the country and generated a lot of jobs for Nigerians. But today, it's a different story. So let's take this background report from Francis Obiana. After that, we talk more.
Food security has become an issue of global concern in recent time, and Nigeria is not left out. Despite the huge investment in the agricultural sector by the current administration, there is high rising cases of hunger everywhere. There seems to be food everywhere, but not enough to eat. What is responsible for the high cost of foodstuffs in the market?
The high prices of commodities globally is as a result of the war in Ukraine, as the invasion by Russia has affected almost every commodity globally. You know, Ukraine is one of the highest growers of most of these commodities. So that has really affected the cost of food globally, most especially in Nigeria, where we are a consuming nation. You know, we depend so much on importation of commodities, even the ones we can grow here in Nigeria. So that has really affected the cost of production and the cost of buying of these commodities. And two, with the herdsmen and farmer clashes all over the country, the fear of farmers not returning back safe has also contributed to the shortage and the high cost of food commodities in the market.
It is often said that once upon a time, Malaysia took palm oil seedlings from Nigeria. But today, Malaysia has become the largest oil palm producer, accounting for about half of the world production. This was as a result of Malaysia's research and development program in oil palm breeding. What has happened to the palm oil industry in Nigeria?
The way and manner the agricultural sector of Nigeria is being run, people saw it as a poor man business. But in Malaysia, it is modernized. They do more of mechanized agriculture. The countries like Malaysia saw what you didn't see in agriculture, and they tapped into it. And today we're even going to seek knowledge and ideas from people who are supposed to be mastering, because they came here. We taught them these things. It was through our tutelage that they became what they are in the production of oil. But today, we are nowhere to be recognized among the highest producers of oil palm in the world, because we don't add value in Nigeria. We are just a consuming nation. We're just about after production, and no value addition. So I think the government should look at the direction of value addition, processing, storage.
Nigeria is currently the world's fourth largest producer of cocoa after Ivory Coast, Indonesia, and Ghana. But it is alarming that Nigeria still imports chocolate. Where is the place of value addition?
Nigeria is the highest producer of cocoa, fourth producer of cocoa in the world, but we are not reaping any benefit other countries that are doing chocolates, when we take them raw, they process and bring back the chocolate and other derivatives that is in cocoa. We're only talking of chocolate, one part of it, not the whole what have you in cocoa that we are talking about. So Nigeria as a nation has not really lived up to expectation. Nigeria as a nation has not gotten it right.
Nigeria is the largest global producer of cassava, with its production accounting for 21% of global production of cassava. But Nigeria does not participate in the global processed cassava market.
Most of the flour we are using today in Nigeria are being imported. You also have to process that cassava into flour for you to be able to use it to produce bread. But when you don't have the mill that now process the cassava into flour, how do you take it now into bakery and now have a bread?
Attaining food sufficiency in Nigeria requires collective and urgent collaborative action amongst all stakeholders.
We can do all-season agriculture, but the problem is that most of Nigerian farmers are peasant farmers. The resources to do this things are not there because one, you need to have water close to the farm, either a dam because you must do irrigation, either you must have a dam or a borehole, and to build a borehole for a smallholder farmers to spend close to 500,000 to do a borehole, it's not an easy task. So if the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the work of the rural development is to develop the rural communities, the agricultural farming communities, where they have access to portable sweet water, for us to do farming all year round, access to rural electrification, for us to process and preserve what we produce at the end of the day, access to very good rural roads so that the farmers can easily move their produce at the end of harvest.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on food sufficiency in Nigeria.
We all know that the agri-sector plays a crucial role in ensuring that the economy is well diversified in the country. But for that to happen, the sector needs massive investment, and we all know that there has been like some intervention programs from the government, but the experts will always tell you that more is needed. And of course, when we talk about investment, we also know that we need massive investment also in research and development. And that is the focus of NTA Ibadan's report, the impact of research on food security in Nigeria.
The impact of research and development cannot be overemphasized in food security and availability of any nation, as they help develop seed and crops that are weather compliant, produce better yields among others, in making sure food is plenty in the society, and harness our farm produce for betterment of the citizenry. How is Nigeria faring in research and development in agriculture sector?
Food is what we have produced and we want to consume. And one thing very important in food storage is processing. We have done a lot of research here to see that we extend the shelf life of our food through processing and also through keeping them in the appropriate temperature. There are certain food that you have to keep in a cool temperature. There are some that you have to keep in ambient temperature, which is the room temperature.
We all know what the country is facing for now. Not only Nigeria, but all over the world. There is crisis everywhere. And therefore, those crises also impacted on the availability of food.
One of our cardinal points is our transfer of technology. We do reach out to farmers, teach them new method of cultivation of our crops, and giving them new varieties that are doing well, far better than hitherto old varieties.
With the vast fertile land in abundance in the nation, the government has a lot to do in encouraging and convincing numerous of our youth population to venture into agriculture by providing incentives and enabling environments for them to prosper.
There is need for us
to encourage our farmers, especially the young ones, the youth. They are the ones that have energy. Most of our fathers, they are old. They cannot do much as per making sure that there is food security. We should not see agriculture as for the dropout. We should see agriculture as a business. We should see agriculture as what the nation depends on.
Investments in agric research and development, provision for storage of excess farm produce, encouraging the citizenry, especially youths, to go into agric and see it more as a business, and also setting up price regulatory agencies for farm produce aimed at checkmating excessive pricing will make food plentiful either for consumption or export, while also making it affordable for the masses.
Well, before we talk about the export potential of some of our agric produce, so we also have to concentrate on what we are able to produce locally for local consumption and ensuring that the prices are friendly. Because if you go to the market today, trust me, you go with a lot of money, but you bring back home little with you. And we also know that Ibadan happens to be home to a lot of agric research institutes, so a lot is expected from our research institute in order to add value to the agric sector. Now, allow me to introduce you to our guest. His name is Albert Teve, right? And he is an aquaculture consultant and also the chairman, Best Fish Farm Estate. You are welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much.
Recently, we had Rice Pyramid in Abuja, and of course the president was there. And then it was said that, you know, the metric tons we produce today, you know, is by far, you know, has witnessed significant improvement compared to maybe if you wind down the years like 2015 or thereabout. And of course that has to do with the intervention of the federal government, most especially in Anko Borrowers program.
Anko Borrowers program have failed in many states. I don't want to go into that, but the banks and the farmers, the Anko Borrowers program have been messed up, but I won't talk about that. Let's talk about the rice pyramids we're talking about. Where is the rice coming from? That's one. If you don't know where the rice is coming from, you cannot intervene in rice production. So we have to, first of all, who are producing the rice, what quantity are they producing now, what quantity were they producing in the past years, and then we plan on how we produce tomorrow. Let me give an instance. If a father has 10 children, but he doesn't know the number of children he has, can he feed them? You can either go and buy 1 cup of rice and you assume the family is sitting, while in reality they are hungry.
Before we continue, let's take another report. You know, while in the, you know, as an undergraduate, I remember one of my lecturers once said this question to say, water everywhere, yet no water to drink. Discuss. And I'm asking Onyilola Alabi, food everywhere, yet no food to eat. Explain.
Food is one of the basic necessities of life. Across the globe, farmers and value chain providers work hard to ensure that food is sufficient for everyone. In recent years, this most important commodity is fastly becoming unaffordable, even in the midst of plenty.
There are a number of factors really that are responsible for the increase in price of food items in the market. One of them is the climate change, which has been prevalent in recent times, especially for crop production. We have less of production that is going on in Nigeria currently. Fertilizer today is available, but in short supply. Data gathered shows that Nigeria's importation of fertilizer has increased by about 75% between last year and this year. And because of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, Russia happens to be one of the biggest exporters of fertilizer in the world. So it means that we're having short supply of fertilizer, and the supply coming from other countries is also coming at higher rates. By the time they are bringing it into the country, it's very expensive, and farmers can't even afford it anymore.
Despite the federal government's intervention in the agricultural sector, there is still rising hunger across the country. The most common staple foods in Nigeria, such as rice, yams, bread, beans, vegetables, as well as livestock, are fast becoming out of reach. The National Bureau of Statistics has revealed that the prices of selected food items has increased in the past 1 year. For instance, the average price of a 1 kg yam tuber and a 500-gram sliced bread on a yearly basis increased by 42.88% and 35.31% respectively.
The first increase in price came up during COVID because flour millers increased the price of all, in fact, not flour alone, everything we are using increased in price. They said there was no importation of wheat and some other ingredients at that time. Of recent, when Ukraine, Russia issue came up, the thing went up again. And that coming up became even much more than it was before. Most of our increase in bread is about 5%.
Okay.
We try to, so that we not put pressure on the consumers.
While some people may attribute the increase in the cost of foodstuff to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the real factors responsible are glaring. They include insecurity, high foreign exchange rates, rising energy, as well as transportation costs, and much more.
One of the things that Nigeria should start looking at is local production. Across board, crop production, livestock. Most of the advancement that America has today was because of the business people, the entrepreneurs. If Nigeria should improve its public-private partnerships, we would have lots of innovations coming into the crop production industry, into the livestock production industry.
Coming back to our guest in the studio, you saw that report, and I know that, at some point I bought, bread for 350 naira. From there it went to 500, 700, 1000, and then it keeps going. But some are actually attributing the high cost of food products in the market as a result of the supply disruption from Ukraine due to the war going on at the moment. Do you share that sentiment?
We prefer to go and import, even now that the Nigerians and the government...
Is it cheaper to import?
It's not cheaper to import, but it's faster to make money.
Okay.
So that's just the issue. It's not cheaper, but it's money is faster.
Maybe, policy regulations needs to come in to, check some of this.
Policy, they have made policies, ban fish, unban, and that kind of thing. Policy cannot change it. The issue is a realistic looking inward. If Nigeria can look inward realistically, all this will stop.
Okay, before I let you go, you said something earlier about, intervening, most of our intervention focusing on the input level, and then you say something about the export output. It should be more, the intervention should be more on output, right? Instead of input. Exactly what do you mean by that?
Now, when you have money, you can afford the inputs. When you borrow money, and at the end of the day you produce, government buys off. Just what was happening in the 60s, where you had the marketing boards when farmers, before the season, farmers will know that this is what is going to be the price of the commodity. And then, if you want a commodity to be increased in production, all you need to do is jack up the price. And that's all. Farmers will leave other things and concentrate on the item that they have increased the price, and then they'll produce. Like in my state, when the Tarakumis was buying off soybeans, everybody became a soybean farmer and they were making it. So if when you produce, government buys off your hand, you see farmers will start sending their children to good schools. Farmers will begin to drive good cars. And then everybody will be proud to be a farmer.
Exactly, a lot of people will be encouraged to
everybody will be proud to be a farmer.
Yes, I quite agree with you with that. And of course, from all you're saying, that if we improve security, ensure that the right investments are made in the agri sector, and then the subsidy regime or subsidy policy is reassessed. A lot of things will certainly improve, and probably some of us will leave this job and join and become farmers.
You will join us.
Thank you very much for speaking to us, and it's been a pleasure. We've been chatting with Albert Teve. He's an aquaculture consultant, and of course the chairman, Best Fish Farm Estate. Right now we go on a break, and after that we still have more for you, so please stay with us.
The palm fruit is an agricultural product that is traditional to Nigeria even before countries like Malaysia came on board.
The oil palm tree originates from West Africa. Therefore, our people have been using it, and we think we know, but we don't know enough on its cultivation.
Weekend Deal crew was at the Okumu oil palm plantation in Edo State to find out how the journey has been so far.
Actually, it's disappointing to know that we need about 2 million metric tons of palm oil in Nigeria. That is our population. We are just a little above 1 million in production capacity.
Opportunities available for oil palm development has not been seized. So it's not like other countries. According to the USDA, Nigeria has close to 2.5 million hectares of oil palm, but more than 90% of it is in the wild groves where we have stretches of oil palm planted all over the place. Their yields are very low. They have poor planting material there because they were not actually selected.
With the production of palm oil on such a large scale, why do Nigerians still complain of high cost of the product? Could it be as a result of export of palm oil?
We don't export. We find it even difficult to feed our local market, not to talk of sending it out.
What are the challenges militating against the production of palm oil?
The biggest problem is, I can say, the finance.
The government can do more. They have done something, especially in terms of what CBN is trying to do in terms of funding oil palm expansion. I would say, like Oliver Twist, I would say they should do more because it will help the industry.
It is hoped that with more investment by government, especially in the area of provision of land and finance, Nigeria can indeed become more self-sufficient in food production.
Have a series of messages coming in. Of course, you also can be part of the program. You can reach us via the line displayed on your screen. And this one is saying, unless insecurity is tackled, spend trillions of naira in agriculture and you will not see improvement in food production. This is coming from Johanna Ishaya from Gwags. The next one says a major factor that affects our food security. One, farmers' data are not captured. Of course, I guess, reflected on that. Insurgency, technical know-how. If government is serious, this can be decisively dealt with. This is coming from Moses Ibrahim Yarima from Wukari in Taraba State. The next one says, I am a poultry farmer. Government officials, you stopped grants meant for us. This is coming from Temi Dayo from Ondo Town. Well, keep your messages coming in. Of course, we get to share it with the rest of our viewers. And next report focuses on the seed system in Nigeria and its impact on food security in the country. This is coming from Ijoma. So let's take this report.
Every seed is a product of a crop plant. Therefore, seeds are one of the most important factors for consideration in the value chain of agricultural process.
If you don't plant the right seeds, you see that what happens is that after 3 or 4 days when it germinates, you come and you see that, many of them have not germinated. So you lose money, you lose your time, and ultimately you lose your investment.
The Nigerian government, through the National Agricultural Seed Council, has over time initiated and implemented policies aimed at assisting farmers towards having access to improved seed varieties. But to what extent has it impacted on food production?
However, another fact also is who benefits from those interventions. So those are the key things that needs to be answered. Because yes, we do acknowledge government has the good intention. I have benefited from this rice pyramid, as a startup, as a small business. However, majority of the farmers today who are more active or who depend on this thing solely for their livelihood, they don't have the same story. And then the people that will benefit are different. They are the ones in the offices, in the armchairs that actually don't even know what a seed looks like. So those are the things that government needs to also really take care of, the implementation. How do they target these farmers?
For certain reasons like lack of education and awareness on the part of the farmers, limited access to technological gadgets like mobile phones, and the capitalist approach used by licensed seed companies in Nigeria, Nigerian local farmers have not been able to meet with the demands of feeding the nation.
These are companies. You have the seed company, and you have the fertilizer company, and you have the companies that also now produce is it ethanol now, and the fish meals and the cow meals and all those things. So you, the farmer, you are left at a loss. You, the local farmer, because it's not about you. We the ones that do small farms, we are the ones that take it to the farm for people to buy. We that do the big time, we are the ones that take it to the companies to go and process. So you now see that again, if you put that together with food security, it's a threat. Yeah, because we cannot produce, due to many factors. The cost of the seeds itself, because even the seeds themselves are not cheap, and then the dependency it creates, plus now the use, the availability of even the goods itself. Yes, we know that we need technology to be able to live with the current reality of climate change, but that should also be locally driven.
Improved seed varieties, which is not limited to genetically modified seeds, is one of the major advancements in the agricultural sector per se. However, it is without long-term damage to our local seeds, land, and farming patterns.
If you look at these new varieties now, they are majorly to support, mostly to support industrial use, feed production for animals, and not necessarily for human consumption. But again, it also creates dependency on the company, because you have to, once you plant it, you cannot really replant it in that sense. You have to come back and buy again.
In all, facilitating access to information on how to improve local seed varieties through research institutions can go a long way to boosting agricultural produce in Nigeria and breaking the monopoly of access in the seed business.
Well, of course, that report came from Ijoma, talking about the seed system in Nigeria and its impact on food production in the country. The right seeds must, be used in order to have the maximum yield. And of course, the messages keep coming. This one is from Omeye Sunday from Nsuka. The problem is that government has not seen agriculture as a priority. Good morning, my name is Bello Reza Samaru. In fact, so many things are contributing towards the increase in food price. Government should make sure agric minister should be a plant breeder assisted by professional farmers. Well, this opinion there. And of course, the next report is coming from Jos, and we are looking at the storage system. Of course, we know that storage has been one of the key challenge the farmers in Nigeria are currently facing. So let's take this report, and after that, we have another guest in the studio that you will love to meet.
Plateau State is exceedingly blessed with resourceful people, fertile arable land, and favorable climate conditions that allows the cultivations of various food crops, which is regarded as a major producer of vegetables, fruits, and potatoes in Nigeria. Despite the huge investment in the agricultural sector by the current administration for food sufficiency in the country, Nigerians still experience a hike in prices of food, which have gone beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. Vegetables, fruits, and potato farming in Plateau State is one aspect of farming that is capable of bringing quick source of income. Despite the high demand, the farm fresh produce are faced with the problem of perishability, bulkiness, and challenges of preservation and storage.
The production of vegetables during the dry season is far more better and has less challenges compared to during the rainy season. So what we will advise, or probably tell the government to do, is to provide huge storage facilities, especially here on the plateau. Look at potatoes also. You can have huge production, huge volumes of production during the dry season, but it's not the same during the rainy season.
Storage facility will help us to keep large production and to maintain the one we produce. They will not go bad. But go around the market here, you discover that huge quantity of produce is wasted and we dump it. You that buy it from here, already you have lost half of it. So if you were selling it at the rate of 10 naira, definitely you're going to look for 20 naira per unit because you want to recover your money. A trailer is not supposed to take cabbage or tomatoes because the trailer itself will going to get hotter by the day. So when it is hot, definitely the produce will going to be hot and they will melt. So by the time you are able to reach there, the little good ones they will bring out will going to be costly.
There should be government assistance in mobilities, reductions or reducing prices on transportations. And also, government can come in by creating job opportunity as a chain line from Mr. A to Mr. B. Let's say, for instance, maybe coming from Bokos. There should be a van that can pick such to transport down to final consumer.
We have a mandate to aggregate our farmers. We have also encouraged farmers to have simple storage facilities. We also encourage local government. And for now, just not local government has been able to do something in the market. If you go to Farangada market, you will see a cold storage facility that is domiciled in the market, the vegetable market. What are we doing? To encourage those who were not able to dispose their vegetables to still keep them in order to preserve the shelf life. Our target is by the year 2023, we should be able to export out of Plateau State nothing less than 2% of what we produce as long as vegetable is concerned.
Nigeria is making steady and assured progress towards self-sufficiency in food production. Therefore, when the agricultural sector is equipped with good storage facilities for farm produce and properly managed, it will greatly boost the country's economy.
We have some messages that are still coming in. This one says that the greatest problem at hand is the insecurity, especially in northern parts of the country. Hundred of thousands of farmers cannot go to their respective farms. All right, allow me to introduce to you our next guest. He is Alhaji Sani Garba. Is the CEO, if you like, executive chairman of Business Visa and Training Limited. You are welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if the director can get all these products here in the studio, it's an interesting. We often talk about that we produce. We have food everywhere, yet we don't have enough to eat. And another, aspect is to do with the packaging of this food item, if you like, agricultural produce in the country. And what I'm seeing here is well-packaged products. Exactly what do you do at Business Visa?
Thank you very much. What we do differently in Business Visa is to, first of all, identify what we even have in the country, then who are in charge, who are interested to process those things. We get them on board and add value to it, and also look for the market. We don't just encourage you to come up with something. You see, mostly we look down on small businesses that give us the knowledge we think we do. We're proud of it. Like if your parents maybe, or your family business is akara frying, and your mom managed to send you to school with that process, the moment you're done with that, you feel nothing should take you near that. And likewise, like masa. Masa, some houses we knew they are just peculiar, even to make reference to where you're coming from. They'll say Gidam Masa.
Okay.
And they use that Masa money to send you to school. You come back, learn something different that might not add value to your immediate environment, and you'll be complaining no job. You can see a lot of our youths, based on the courses they were, right? They have no place here. And instead of them to even know the environment very well, I'm sure if you go to street or gather youths, they will tell you about foreign soccer clubs. They are players.
And
but
you have little knowledge about our local teams.
So how can you make a fair judgment that we don't have food? We are just in abundance varieties and choices of job. If you feel it's not good enough, put an impact, no matter how little it is. So there is lack of data and awareness, and it gave us those liberty. When you come back, now you will be at home. Your mom will be there selling, roasting maize, and that money you will be waiting for her to give you food. You don't want to get dirty, and the course you have, you'll be allowed to be struggling. Where will I even go and look for the job?
Alexani, I'm sure you've been to the market recently, and if you've not been to the market, you've sent somebody to market to get some food item. Even though I'm beginning to wonder if actually you go to buy food in the market, given the fact you have all this with you. Now, food items are very expensive in the market today, but despite that, you'll see some Nigerians who would rather patronize foreign rice than locally produced rice.
Yeah, you see, first of all, we should look at who are the coordinators of those markets. For distance, for us to just spring up and say everything is expensive, we leave it to some few persons managing all this, right? If we say, okay, fine, there are challenges in the farm. Do you know the hectares we have in the whole country? Maybe some few areas are being attacked. Then make use of the other ones and look at the process before it comes to the market. Nobody cares. So how could you just say someone will now tell you, no? You see, if we want to regulate this, we are lucky in Nigeria. We know the season for everything. Why can't now government bring in money, buy those things at their peak periods, preserve them in bulk, and buy them at that value that they deserve? Don't say that because it's in abundance we can now bring that the value. The ones you preserve them, we continue using them subsequently, so there will be balance in the pricing. But now we just left it. Someone will just bring up. They said, this certain corn is now in the high demand, and you trust our guys. Some they have idle money. They will now rush there and buy everything to keep. Leave it. I will not sell it till it get to this price.
Now, a lot of agripreneurs, entrepreneurs in the agri sector, whenever they are packaging their products and processing it at the same time, a lot of people have actually said that perhaps the process is not good enough, and that's why it cannot meet up with the export standard. And you have a lot of people who, because of that, always have preference for foreign, agri produce than the local one. Now, look at some of these items, produced here. They are of international standard, I want to believe.
That's true.
But why do we still have this challenge, of packaging and processing?
You see, there is mislead in this packaging thing. Nigerians, if you give them a ready market, they will give you the package you want and look for the standard you really wanted. If you are packaging, whom are you packaging for? Which is your own targeted market? It comes with its own spec. If you go in for a Middle East market, this is the spec for it. They need classic packaging. They need some communication like the Arabic language. If it's American market, they'll go for jumbo sizes, and also it has to have 2 languages. So you need to know all this before you start packaging or looking for outside market or export. Basically, any export demand comes with its own specification. And if you're packaging for Nigerians, I'm sorry, Nigerians, we all know, we know the season for every fruit. If you want, you can wait for the season and get it as fresh as anything. Some of us, in your backyard, small space, you put your maize there, you go there, plug it, and have it instantly. But some doesn't have those privileges. Those are the ones that they need preservation and take it elsewhere.
I know they often talk about labeling, and from this sesame oil I'm saying, it has label, it has all the content and the expiry date and everything, every information you really need is actually stated there. And of course, it's like written in almost all the products.
That's right.
Of course, the benefits of black seed here, high protein, prevent diabetes, cure, a lot of things like that. But basically, what really do we need to do differently in order to ensure food sufficiency in Nigeria? Because that has become a huge challenge in the country today. Because yes, we are producing, but are we producing enough? Do we have enough to feed ourselves in the country?
Yeah, you see, we have to take a different approach. Take inventory of what do we even need. I tell you, Suleiman, there are things that if we look within in the country, what the north produces is different from what the southeast produces. So if we don't have an inventory of what we are producing and in what volume are we producing, and I tell you, like, we have varieties of everything. We have the best of everything here, and we have them in varieties. So we should now have like to kind of know what we need. Don't allow people to just farm randomly. So in our own case, we have associations of all these crops, and then it helps us to know the varieties in the same crop we have, and in volume, how many can we get nationally? Whether you're farming from Nasarawa, Kano, Jigawa, bring you under the same umbrella.
You bring them under the same umbrella. And I understand a lot of them are women.
80%.
Oh, interesting.
They are persistent. And I tell you, that's why we are sustainable.
Okay.
The women, they might come and say, look, this product, they will harass you when you take it elsewhere. You need this, you need that. But they need to raise some money. Fine. I tell you, you might think she gave up. She will go back. Some they might cry, but she will go back and come back again with those and say, okay, this is it. What next? And I tell you, all they are asking is to patronize this product. If we can just go back and look at distance, and I want to reassure you that no foreign company out there that will make its best production and think of bringing it to African market, none. They might only just bring flavors of it, and some are even not considered. They have taken what they wanted, but the residue they might just add something and package and bring it back bring it back to us, and yet we'll be going for their products.
Okay, now I know some people have said that the Ukraine war is having impact on food price of food items, and of course others has in a way disrupted the supply chain of food items around the world. But we'll come to that after we must have taken this next report, which is coming from Sokoto on food security.
An alternative to rain-fed agriculture is irrigation farming, and there is abundant water and land to support this type of farming in this zone. Irrigation farming engages many farmers into production of different crops.
Those that cultivate in the dry season are the Fadama, what we call the Fadama farmers. These Fadama farmers, there are some crops that we have a comparative advantage. Those crops are onion, garlic, wheat, rice, and rest of them, maize.
Farmers can grow 3 crops in a year. They grow rain-fed crop, which is not reliable. Then they grow another crop in Fadama under irrigation. They harvest it. They grow vegetables after the rainy season. They harvest the vegetables, and they can grow rice.
We can cultivate crops from November and maybe harvest somewhere in March, and then plant rice, irrigated rice, from first part of April to first week of August before the arrival of the floods. If you are able to do that, you discover that what you are going to get on a yearly basis will be something that can keep you busy, and that can also bring food security to the northern part of this country and Nigeria at large.
Despite abundant resources, some factors are working against effort to ensure food sufficiency. A real challenge in agriculture lies in soil fertility, for which fertilizer is the remedy. Despite government interventions, complaints of shortage of fertilizer and other farm input remain seasonal occurrence, hindering quest for food security. Another major constraint to food sufficiency in this part of the country has to do with market uncertainty. This is Ramin Kura vegetable market in Sokoto. In times of bumper harvest, farmers suffer losses due to perishable nature of vegetables.
If we can organize ourselves, upscale our production, and the farmers are facilitated by government to procure fertilizers, to procure pesticides, to procure seeds. We can produce our own seed.
Traditional cultivation methods are not likely going to take us out of, get us food secure. We need to invest on mechanized agriculture that is environmentally friendly and that can allow many people to be engaged and involved in agriculture, not just the common practice where you use cutlass and hoe.
To ensure food sufficiency in Nigeria, more emphasis should be given to all stages of production value chain.
Of course, we cannot always rely on the rainy season. We have other means to ensuring that we keep the farming season on. And of course, I'm sure you love what you saw there. And it just goes to say that we need to invest more in order to ensuring that we have that food sufficiency in the country.
Any seed you bring into Nigeria, you will find out that that's where it belongs. It will yield better results. I can give you instances, you know, of the noni tea. We now have a noni in Nigeria. Those ginseng in China, go to Taraba and see our own ginseng, much more stronger. The olive oil, people are thinking is dominated there in the Middle East. They only have the green olive oil, but we have the black olive oil, which is Atele. What you see people going for all those foreign things without even knowing the basics. And surprisingly, whatever you need, that's what will reflect in your health. You got to know what you are even sitting down on before you now ridicule your country or you think or make a judgment on it. We are in abundance and in multiples. If anybody that cares to know, come and see our products. The hibiscus, the one comes from Jigawa, is the best in the whole world. If anybody has anyone, you see all these things, some of them are waste. Look at this. It grows wild. We don't even cultivate it. This is a Castro seed. Look at products from it. And all made here in Nigeria. Look at this, baobab. I was privileged to host Dr. Ngozi exactly when she came, and guess what, when she saw this she was shocked. She held my hands. I said, do we have this in this country? I said, yes ma, we do. I said, what, you don't understand, do we have this? Some Japanese company asked me whether we have it in Nigeria. I said, yes we do. We even have oil from it, you know, and the powder, you know, a lot of things like that. They came back here to know what is happening. Guess what, it's our bees. They took bees, not only the seed. To take it there, their bees cannot pollinate it. They have to take bees here from Nigeria. And coming to bees scenario, you see, some people ridicule us that our honey looks brownish or dirty, kind of. But then we have advantage over that.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your thought. I'm sure you need more outlets so that Nigerians can appreciate what we have in the country. Thank you very much for speaking with us. And yes, we have been speaking with Alhaji Sani Garba. He's the executive chairman of Business Visa and Training Limited. It's been a pleasure, you know, sharing your time with you. And I wouldn't mind to see some of these products in airports. That's as we see in other climes. Well, we'll get to talk about that next time.
That's our prayers, to have more outlets.
All right.
Over the years, the government have introduced different agricultural development programs such as Operation Feed the Nation and Green Revolution. These have helped and encouraged farmers who are the first source of obtaining food. In line with this, the present government came up with its own program called the National Agricultural Technology and Innovation. This program has helped to increase farm production, like the rice pyramid launched in Abuja early this year 2022. But the issue now is, what happens to other chains of food production, like storage and processing?
To store tomato after harvesting is not yet matured in this country, and it's not possible for you yet. But what is possible for tomato is when you harvest, within the next 2 days, process it to remove the water and preserve it for continuous usage up to 2 years. But in Nigeria today, we continue to actually think we are doing right there. I've been saying for the past 8 to 10 years that to support farmers without processing is working against ourselves. And as you see now, nobody seems to listen, but today reality has proven me right. Other products like say carrot, there's process to do it. to preserve it. Better than, easier than tomato. But tomato, no two ways about it. This is what they are going to do. If you want to export it anywhere there's brand, you can hold for 21 days anyway. That's why I can be able to export. We have to start to serve our people first. After serving our people, before we go outside, some people come and jump, I want to do export. It's paining me too much that they're supporting export of our agricultural material that God gave us. That we have any export of $100 million is due from there, we are missing $1 billion. But when you put more value.
The truth of the matter is that the government focuses more on boosting crop production to the neglect of the rest of the chain value in making food sufficient in Nigeria. The cost and risks of processing farm products might have made many processing companies prefer to import raw materials, thereby making the farm food produce waste and insufficient for the populace.
The problem is much that even what our raw material, basic raw material here, like energy, like taxes, they are charging us. Any government agency will come, they are not targeting at you as their biggest enemy. They will go and equip themselves with more guns, they want to come and attack you on what they don't care for you to progress. If government support company to grow, they will have about 30% tax at the end of the year. If you don't support me, you are working against me. When I try to come to attack me.
Strategies to boost the productivity of farmers from the farm level till it gets to the processing firms must be prioritized.
Government has to coordinate them. Let them know. Just as they are passing laws now on how to do electoral, so everybody will be okay. They should do that one first in manufacturing. If you live where you are making more money and facing only $30 billion, they fight. All this is because of $30 billion. When we have made 150 billion a year, if policy is right, we need to change our system today. Change from buying and consumption to using made in Nigeria and produce. Unless state of emergency is clear in food processing in this country, we cannot move anywhere.
In all, reducing food wastage, using developed storage systems and processing will enhance food sufficiency in Nigeria.
We have a series of messages here. We can take them now. Tomorrow morning, I promise to take some of them.